and welcome to Unbox The Podcast, the show that helps you live your best life. I'm your host, Sahar Huneidi-Palmer, online intuitive mentor. Love. Let's keep it sweet and simple. It's Podcast Tuesday, the 1st of February, and as the new moon appears in the sky. As of today, any feelings you have lurking within will start bubbling up and rising to the surface. I've just sent out my monthly Unbox newsletter where I talk about emotional cycles that are influencing our personal development. Please sign up if you haven't done so already. Simply go to my main website, saharhuneidi.com, and you will see a pop-up asking you to sign up. Simple, right? Interestingly, the new year began with a new moon too. You might start feeling emotional about a variety of things this month, and I hope that today's podcast will inspire you to sort your relationships out, whether they're romantic or business. By the way, the dynamic of relationships is really the same, as you shall hear shortly. So let's move on. In honor of Valentine's Day, let's talk about love. Is it really possible to keep it sweet and simple? The one-word answer is yes, you certainly can. Every relationship takes two people. And when two individuals come together, what they exchange is the entity, I'm going to call it an entity, that is the relationship they have. That space is like a separate entity, a partnership, a company if you like, that will have its own characteristics and dynamics. How a relationship develops is entirely dependent on the two individuals involved, how they are, and how clear they are about what they want and expect from a relationship. The success of any relationship depends on what you each put into it right from the start and throughout. From the start, the more of what you have to offer as a person sets the tone for how the relationship will evolve. For example, if you have cleared your own personal challenges and learned from past relationships, your current or new relationship is more likely to succeed. New ingredients yield new results, and that's the truth. Repeat old patterns without considering who your current partner is, and you will quickly find out that the new relationship, like the previous one, will fail. Does that make sense? So here comes my tip number 1. Start from the present. Every relationship is like taking a bus ride. You need to know the destination before you get on board. So here are some few questions you can ask yourself. Is your emotional state in good shape? Do you know why you want to fall in love? And what do you want to get out of a relationship? In Dr. Paul Hoch's book, How to Love and Be Loved, there's a beautiful quote. Why do you have to be loved? And since when does somebody else's love make you feel wonderful, worthwhile human being? Weren't you worthwhile and wonderful before you were loved? Think about that. When you are needy of anything, you tend to attract and develop a codependent relationship. Codependency kills love. And by the way, if you are already in a relationship with two other people at the same time, you have already broken relationship rule number 1. It takes 2. 3 is really a crowd. It creates a messy space where 3 people interact directly or indirectly, and you haven't got a leg to stand on. The crowd relationship has its own potentially unpredictable dynamic. It will implode sooner or later, no matter how well you think it's going. And more than one side will get hurt. Not only that, but emotional recovery takes time. And that in itself will cause more discord in your life when the goal is to make it more harmonious. It's got nothing to do with morals, but everything to do with common sense. When two people get together to form a relationship, you both invest 50% of yourself into it. The remaining 50% is up to you to grow on your own, what you call your own development. The more you develop your part, the more you will be able to share in a relationship space. Your personal development supports your relationship, allowing you to continue to grow and evolve for the better. As the two couples create a deeper connection with each other, love grows and can last a lifetime. You are not really there in either relationships when you're seeing someone else, not aware of the dynamic you're establishing in either situation, but you're not totally engaged in one-to-one connection. As a result, you won't be able to progress and the relationship will not go as far as it could have. We're talking about building long-term partnerships here. There will be no more drama or pain in your... Seriously, folks, finish one chapter before you start a new one. You need a break in between relationships too, to have time to process, recover, and understand what you just went through and why. So here's my tip number 2. One relationship at a time, folks. You're not running out of time. It's your movie. You set your pace. Romantic relationships are like a tennis match. Two people need to be exchanging the ball back and forwards at the same court. Try and play 2 matches at the same time. How stressful is that? Once you settle into a relationship, it should keep growing. It doesn't mean that you don't make any improvements. If you don't, you will soon both lose interest and the dynamic will change to humdrum, leading to frustration, aggravation, and possibly a disaster. Believe it or not, most people do that unconsciously. Once the relationship is working, they stick to what they're doing, thinking this is how I maintain love. But this is really how to kill it. Where is spontaneity and surprise? Creativity really fires up the heart. It shows your partner that you're thinking of them, aware of how they're evolving, and that you appreciate all of this about them. A male client of mine told me once that he always gave his girlfriend the same present on special occasions because she liked the first gift. I'm not sure any woman would appreciate that. Women, on the other hand, if we can generalize, tend to run their household without giving much thought to their partner's need as an individual. Once you have a family, children become the focus, and the partner's need go gradually down the priority list. Ladies, how many of you have done that? I asked a female client once, does your husband feel at home in the house that you share? Does he have his own private space or a corner where he can do whatever he pleases? Does he feel comfortable, for example, to take his shoes off and leave them in the living room? She said, no, I run a tight ship. The space you create together with your partner, whether literally or figuratively, is important. It makes them feel respected, appreciated, and loved. Even in a shared space, the two partners need space to grow and love. So here comes my tip number 3. Identify your needs and expectations. And next, identify the needs and expectations of your partner too. They are active players in this relationship and may have different needs and expectations than any other previous partners you may have. Essentially, no two people are alike. People are individuals. So, what kind of individual are you forming a partnership with? This takes us to the next level of relationship development. Yes, we go through stages. Relationships that last are relationships that grow. People change. Some people evolve at a faster rate than others. Are you aware how well connected you are to your own evolution, to your own relationship, and how it's growing over time? Tip number 4, take nothing for granted, or else your relationship is doomed. Just because the first few weeks, months, or years of a relationship went well, it doesn't mean they will always continue to do so. Noticing if you're still communicating is a good indicator. Do you still have something interesting to share with each other? Do you care about each other's hobbies, interests, or life goals? Or are you preoccupied with your own life to consider your emotional investment that you share with your partner? Finally, you need to ask yourself all the time, are you reasonably happy in this relationship? True love is inspiring. It gives us as human beings solid foundation from which to grow. We all have psychological needs such as a sense of belonging, being loved as we go through life. It makes our self-esteem grow and fuels our desire to fulfill our destiny. People are meant to be together, to be intimate, to love, to share pleasure and joy of a relationship, the intimate connection that this relationship offers. At the same time, people are unique, so what makes them tick is also unique. That's why there are no guarantees. Whether love grows or not depends on each partner and how they handle and nurture the relationship space. I refer to a relationship as a space because it is a separate entity, because it's a separate entity from you, which you formed with your feelings, thoughts, and actions. So, when fundamental needs are met, higher level psychological demands take precedence, which explains why relationships change and feelings shift. What was once satisfying is no longer so. For whatever reason, there are likely to be bumps, ups, and downs in love. This is part of life. But if it happens, remind yourself of why you are in that relationship in the first place. So try not to exaggerate what's going on and try and see it from your partner's perspective as well. Sometimes whatever's going on in the relationship is not just about you, so don't take things personally. As your relationship progresses, one or both of you might have overlooked your partner's individual needs. How are you reciprocating their love? Relationships are not about the perfect partner, ideal girlfriend or boyfriend, but about being the perfect partner for each other at every stage of the relationship. Love is the expression of partners who help us grow as individuals and live our best life happily and joyfully. So, when you're not reasonably happy, what do? Do you keep your mouth shut for the sake of maintaining a relationship? Many avoid rocking the boat, believe it or not. That is a tragedy waiting to happen. Love is an ever-changing dynamic state. A relationship is a live thing that pulsates each hour and day. Love crumbles when psycho-emotional needs, respect, and happiness are not met or returned. A relationship will come to an end. Priorities shift as people's psychological and emotional needs shift over time. Dr. Paul Hoek says in his book, again, How to Love and Be Loved, Overcoming Common Problems, the goal of a relationship is to see to it that you remain at least reasonably content all the time, and that you have hope for a greater degree of contentment. So here comes tip number 5. Be aware of your evolving needs and those of your partners. Address them lovingly without anger as the relationship grows. Most people don't read minds, so don't expect anyone to read yours. Talk, communicate, demonstrate how do you want to be loved so that you can both remain on the same page. What if, in the final analysis, a relationship breaks down after all and your partner rejects you? Dr. Hoek explains, rejection is painless unless you make it hurt. If you insist that you have turned into a nobody because your lover has rejected you, then you have never had much of an ego to begin with. If you think your life is over because your husband has found interest in someone else, then you've never had much confidence in yourself. Well, that takes us back to the very beginning. Love is about you. How self-aware are you of your needs, wants, and what you are becoming? Focus on you. You are the foundation of all your relationships. And please listen to a guided visualization that I recorded to help you find out what love is and who is your ideal mate. You can purchase it from my website, or alternatively, you can watch it and listen to it for free when you join my Unbox Academy. Binaural sounds are built into the visualization to help you shift your mindset. And by the way, joining Unbox Academy is free for life. You will also find the Love webinar waiting for you to watch. Stay well.